welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're really unpacking a fascinating set of sources that gets right to the heart of something I think many of us grapple with, how to confidently talk to people in English. You know, if you've ever felt that little flutter of nerves, or you're searching for the words, maybe worried about mistakes, yeah, this deep dive is definitely for you.
It really is. And what's so compelling, I think, about the material we're looking at is how it goes beyond just, language tips. It's not simply about mastering grammar or having a huge vocabulary.
Right.
These sources, they tell this really powerful story about overcoming a pretty universal challenge, which is that apprehension, that anxiety that often comes with social interaction.
Especially in another language.
Exactly, especially when you add that layer of navigating English as a maybe non-native language. So we're kind of framing this as a shortcut, not just to get smart about language learning itself, but to really understand how these small, sometimes tiny acts of communication can actually spark a huge shift in your personal life, maybe even your professional life too.
That's a great way to put it. So our mission today really is to pull out the most important nuggets, those key insights, maybe some surprising bits too from these sources we're sharing. We're going to trace this really personal journey step by step.
Yeah.
Looking at the small changes that were made, the specific challenges faced, and maybe the simple skills that built confidence over time. Because the core idea, and this really resonated, is that you don't need perfect English or a big vocabulary. Just a little courage and the right ideas can change everything. And just for you listening, this deep dive is really tailored for you. We'll give it a clear structure, keep it engaging, balance the summaries with those memorable, practical details.
And that practical side is key, isn't it? I think the real genius here is how these sources manage to break down what feels like this massive emotional social wall into these incredibly small, doable steps. It's really about getting the why behind each technique. Why does a real smile work? Why does this kind of question get a better response?
Yeah.
Understanding that why makes it so much more powerful than just abstract advice. It turns it into actual tools you can use every day to boost your English conversations. Moving from feeling hesitant to, feeling confident.
Okay, brilliant. Let's dive right into those foundational ideas then. We're calling this section The Foundation, Overcoming Initial Hesitation and Embracing Simple Steps. And the absolute first hurdle, maybe the biggest one, is right there in the first hello, conquering the fear of speaking. The narrator in our source describes this really deep personal struggle, just profound shyness, this almost paralyzing nervousness about starting conversations with new people. They even talk about the physical side of it, heart racing, shaky hands sometimes, and that incredibly frustrating feeling of words just staying stuck inside my head. Trapped.
Right.
And this paralysis, it led them to choose silence a lot, which of course just made them feel incredibly lonely. That feeling of wanting to say something, anything, but the words just won't come out. It's that mental block tied to anxiety.
So relatable, isn't it?
It's incredibly relatable. And what the source does so well is show that this isn't just about an English language barrier, which is what maybe you'd first assume.
Right.
This is about something deeper. It's social anxiety, that fear of being judged negatively, and the real emotional toll of connections you don't make. That phrase, heavy feeling in my chest, after trying and failing to connect, that just perfectly captures the psychological weight of it all. It's not just the words you can't say, it's the feeling of what's left unsaid. But, and this is crucial, the narrative shifts.
Yes.
This discomfort, this longing to connect, it builds up to this really clear, conscious choice. The narrator actually says, I want to change. And that's not just wishful thinking, it's a deliberate commitment.
Right.
That's the moment, when the desire to connect finally wins out over the fear.
And that leads right into this fascinating part, this real aha moment the source describes. It's this vivid scene at a busy market.
Yeah, I remember this part. Right. The narrator's watching this cheerful shopkeeper just chatting easily with everyone, joking, smiling. And there's this intense want to do the same, to connect like that. But when their turn comes, just to buy some apples, their throat goes dry, mind blanks completely. The fear of saying something wrong in English or being misunderstood, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So they just manage to point and whisper, "This one, please?" And even though the shopkeeper is nice, they walk away with that same heavy feeling, thinking, why is this so hard? Why can't I just say hello? It really shows the immense effort involved in what seems so simple to others.
It's a classic example, really, of how that cognitive load Thinking about the English words, the grammar, combined with social anxiety, can just feel like this wall you can't get past. But the beauty here is what happens next.
Right.
The very next day, that commitment to change. It turns into this tiny action with a massive impact. The narrator, even though they're clearly hesitant, manages this shaky little hello to a man on a bench.
Just hello.
Just hello. And importantly, the man responds nicely. Hello, how are you? And that interaction, as small as it seems, is framed as this huge first step. It opened a door I thought was closed forever.
Wow.
It really shows the power of what some psychologists might call like behavioral activation. That tiny vulnerable hello wasn't just words. Getting that positive response, even a small one, it created this little spark of happiness, of confidence.
It calls it a feedback loop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's crucial. And the narrator started practicing it every single day, consistently saying hello. And they acknowledge, sometimes people didn't answer, maybe they were busy.
Yeah.
But committing to that regular effort, even with those minor rejections, it reframes things. Those aren't failures. They're just part of the process. It builds resilience.
Yeah.
And the core lesson, the real takeaway here, is that talking to people is not about saying perfect English or having all the right words. It is about being brave enough to start. That first hello, it's the hardest, definitely, but it's absolutely the most important step for improving your English conversations.
Absolutely. So for you listening, the practical thing, the immediate action is to start practicing that simple hello with intention consistently. Say it to different people you meet on the street, neighbors, shopkeepers, the person making your coffee. Know that, you'll probably feel scared at first. And okay, sometimes people might not respond or seem busy. That's just life. It's not about you.
Right.
But most of the time, you'll likely get a smile back, maybe a hello too. And each one of those tiny successes, it just builds your confidence bit by bit, makes you feel stronger speaking English. It's like carving out a new habit, a new default reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you've got that foundational hello down, let's talk about another really powerful tool, often overlooked, and it's nonverbal. It can really open doors for your English interactions. The power of a smile.
Yes. This is such a critical insight.
Yeah.
After getting past the initial hurdle of just saying hello, the narrator noticed something deeper. It wasn't just the words that mattered. It was the way I said them. The smile I gave made a big difference. And this is huge for nonverbal communication, which often gets missed in language classes, right? A smile, it's universal. It signals friendliness, openness, that you're not a threat.
Instinctive.
Totally. And actually, physiologically, when you smile, it can trigger something similar in the other person's brain. It makes you seem approachable, safe. It acts like this social lubricant, lowering barriers way faster than just words alone. It builds that first bit of trust, that comfort level, which is so vital for any conversation in English to even start.
Right.
We sometimes think, oh, I need the perfect opening line or, complex vocabulary. But honestly, a genuine smile often says much more about your positive intent than a perfectly crafted English sentence. It's part of being communicatively competent, not just grammatically correct.
And the source gives this lovely example at a bus stop with an older man. The narrator mentions how adding a warm, real smile to their simple, hello, how are you, just made the man's face light up. And the chat that followed, even if short, felt friendly and comfortable, like using a key opening a door. There's another one at a cafe. A smile leads to just a casual chat about the weather. These examples really show the double benefit, don't they? Smiling makes the other person feel welcome and open, and the act of smiling itself actually helps you, the speaker, feel a bit happier, a bit less nervous.
It really does.
It creates this amazing positive feedback loop. Your inside feeling affects your outside look, which affects their reaction, which makes the whole environment better for speaking English. It literally changes the dynamic, not just for them, but for you too.
That feedback loop is absolutely key, especially when you're learning English. There's this idea, the facial feedback hypothesis, which suggests that just the physical act of smiling can actually dial down your own anxiety. Yeah. So you feel less stressed, which makes you appear more relaxed, more approachable. It's like a little self-regulation trick for those potentially nerve-wracking social moments.
Yeah.
So the practical tip for you listening is make it a conscious thing. Smile first, then say a simple greeting like hi or good morning.
Simple but powerful.
Incredibly potent. That combo, minimal words, genuine warm expression, it screams friendly, open, it helps others relax, trust you, and actually want to talk to you more in English. It's like the unspoken invitation.
Right. Okay, so we've got the friendly opening, covered the hello, the smile. Now, how do we actually get a conversation going beyond that? How do we move from just polite noises to a real exchange? That brings us to breaking the ice with small talk, stepping beyond greetings.
Yeah. And the narrator definitely confirms this is the next big step, the next challenge after getting the hello and smile down, starting actual small talk. And it was still loaded with that shyness, that worry about their English. What if I say it wrong? What if they don't understand me?
All normal worries.
Completely normal for anyone learning a language.
Yeah.
It made the narrator really nervous. So this stage isn't just about knowing more words. It's about daring to open up that conversation channel a bit wider and seeing small talk for what it is, a vital social tool. It's the bridge, really, from just acknowledging someone to actually starting to connect.
And the source has this really great, relatable example, again, at a bus stop. The narrator sees a young woman with this cool big bag, and after taking a deep breath, you can almost feel the effort involved. They just compliment it. Nice bag. Where did you buy it?
Simple, right?
So simple. Not complex English at all. But that little question, it sparked a whole conversation about the market, shopping, even favorite foods in the city. The narrator said it felt easy and natural. Another time, just saying to the barista, the coffee smells great today, led to an offer to try something new. It extended the interaction. These moments perfectly show how small talk isn't trivial. It's like opening a door to something more. It shows you don't need deep, serious topics. Everyday stuff is fine. Actually, it's perfect. It's about noticing things around you, finding something light and common to comment on. It's kind of the art of the gentle opener.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And small talk is brilliant at reducing anxiety for both people involved. Actually, because it lowers the stakes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It shifts your focus away from trying to be linguistically perfect, worrying about every verb tense or if your pronunciation is spot on, and more towards just listening and enjoying the interaction. It's a low-pressure way to build rapport. Fundamentally, it's about showing interest in others and making a connection, not putting on a performance for them.
Right.
It creates this comfortable space, psychologically safe, before you even think about deeper topics. It lets you ease into the conversation like dipping your toe in the water before swimming.
So for you listening, the practical advice here is start easy. Common topics work great. Weather, always a safe bet. Nice day, isn't it? Or, wow, it's really coming down out there.
Classic.
Totally. Or comment on where you are. Do you like this cafe? Have you seen that new building going up? And then try simple, open-ended questions, ones that need more than a yes-no. Is this your first time here? What do you enjoy doing on weekends? Remind yourself, like the source says, small talk is not about speaking perfect English. It's about showing interest. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. And that's not just a nice thought. It's true. Every little successful small talk chat makes the next one feel a tiny bit easier. You're building those English conversation muscles.
Definitely. So, okay, the ice is broken. You've navigated that initial step. Now, the next crucial thing is making sure the conversation doesn't just die out after the first few sentences, which takes us nicely into deepening connections, from basic greetings to meaningful exchanges. And the first point here is all about asking questions, fueling the conversation flow.
This was a huge lesson for the narrator, something they really emphasized. Asking questions helps keep the conversation alive. They noticed that if you just talk about yourself, well, the other person might lose interest pretty quickly.
Yeah, it becomes a monologue.
Exactly. But when you ask questions, when you genuinely engage with them, they feel valued, interested, and they naturally want to talk more. It makes sense, right? It taps into that basic human need to be seen and heard.
It absolutely does. It leverages fundamental psychology. People, generally speaking, love to share about themselves, their family, their job, their passions, hobbies. It's not vanity. It's just a natural human thing, self-disclosure.
Okay.
And when you invite that genuinely with your questions, the other person feels valued, understood. And crucially, the source makes this great distinction between closed questions, the yes-no kind, like, do you like movies? And open-ended questions, like, what kind of movies do you enjoy?
Big difference.
Huge difference. Open questions invite stories, details, opinions. They encourage the other person to elaborate, which keeps the conversation flowing and allows it to deepen naturally, moving beyond just surface facts. They let the other person have the floor for a bit, which most people appreciate. It helps build that back and forth rhythm essential for good English conversation.
The source illustrates this so well with that story from the park. The narrator sees a man with his dog, and instead of overthinking a complicated opener, just asks, hello, what kind of dog is that?
Simple, direct.
Totally simple, open-ended, And boom, it unlocks this whole stream of information about the golden retriever, Max, his age, many stories about his dog. It just shows how one well-placed, simple question can open the floodgates. And it helps normalize that fear we all have sometimes of asking the wrong question. The source reminds us most people appreciate your effort to talk and get to know them. Think of it like a game, maybe, where both people share and listen. Asking good questions is how you keep the game going in English, keeping it moving and engaging for everyone.
So for you listening, the practical step is to consciously try and weave more open-ended questions into your everyday English chats. Start with easy ones that invite a personal response. Where did you grow up? What do you like to do for fun? How was your weekend? This isn't just about filling silence, it's about cultivating real curiosity. It turns basic exchanges into richer, more memorable interactions, and actively improves your conversational English skills.
Okay, so asking questions, definitely key for keeping things moving. But what's the other side of that coin? Maybe the more critical part of a really good conversation. The sources actually present something a bit surprising here, guiding us towards listening is more important than talking, the foundation of understanding.
Yeah, this was a really profound realization for the narrator, almost counterintuitive. Listening is even more important than speaking. Initially, they thought, like many language learners do, that the more you talk, the faster you learn English. More output equals faster progress.
Seems logical.
It seems logical, but what they discovered was that really listening, actively engaging with what the other person was saying, led to a much deeper grasp of how people really communicate. Not just the words, but the tone, the pauses, the nonverbal stuff.
The nuances.
Exactly, the nuances. And this taps into a basic truth of human connection. People often crave a good listener more than they need a constant talker. When you actively listen, it shows respect, kindness, genuine care. It builds that real connection that goes beyond just exchanging information. And from an English learning angle, it's like hitting the accelerator.
How so?
Well, by truly tuning in, you're absorbing natural pronunciation, common phrases, idioms, the rhythm and melody of spoken English. All of that feeds back into your own speaking, making it sound more natural over time. It's like learning the music of the language, not just the notes.
The anecdote illustrating this is really powerful. The narrator is in a cafe with a new friend, listening to stories about his job, his family. And instead of mentally prepping their next sentence, getting anxious about what they should say in English, they made a conscious choice to really listen. Using those little verbal cues like, I see, really, that's interesting, along with nodding, making eye contact.
Active listening signals.
Exactly. And the effect was amazing. The friend felt comfortable and talked more, sharing things like hobbies, even dream stuff they might not have shared otherwise. The narrator even points out that listening gave them a moment to think about what I wanted to say next, which actually reduced the pressure on their own English speaking.
Right.
It powerfully shows that even if you don't catch every single word, paying attention to body language, facial expressions, tone of voice helps you get the meaning. The key lesson. Don't rush to speak all the time. Take time to listen carefully. It will make your speaking better and your friendship stronger. It's about presence, really.
So for you, the listener, the practical move is to start consciously using those simple affirming phrases in your English conversations. I see. Wow, that's interesting. They're not just filler, they're signals that you're engaged, that you value what's being said. They encourage the speaker. And remember, listening is a skill anyone can practice every day. Improving your listening boosts your confidence because you understand more, making you feel better equipped to respond thoughtfully in English. It's the quiet work that makes your speaking louder, in a way.
Okay, so after really listening, encouraging the other person, the next natural step for building real connection is to balance the exchange. How do you share your own stuff? This brings us to sharing stories about myself, building reciprocity and trust.
And the narrator is very clear. This was the next big hurdle. Talking about themselves. Why?
Yeah.
Same reasons resurface. Shyness, nervousness, worrying about their English, and that fear of sounding boring.
Oh, that's a big one, the boring fear.
It really is. It's so common for language learners. You don't want to draw attention to yourself, maybe risk making a mistake talking about your own life. But the narrator realized something crucial. Sharing a little about myself was important. Why? Because it helps people get to know you better and makes the conversation real and warm. If you never share, you can accidentally seem aloof, private, maybe even unfriendly. It creates this imbalance that actually stops real connection. and hinders practicing conversational English naturally. It needs to be a two-way street.
That's so true. If you're only ever asking questions and never offering anything back, it can start to feel less like a conversation and more like, well, an interview.
Exactly.
The source gives this really sweet, relatable example of why reciprocity matters. In the park again, after listening well to a new friend's stories, the narrator decides to share something small and personal, a funny story about trying to cook pasta for the first time and messing it up.
Low stakes. Relatable.
Totally. And the friend immediately reacts with, "Really? What did you cook?" They shared a laugh, and the conversation felt closer and more personal. Then the friend shared their own cooking disaster story. It just perfectly shows that connection doesn't require these huge, dramatic, personal revelations.
No.
Small, everyday things, hobbies, family moments, something funny that happened yesterday are perfect. They show vulnerability, humor, that willingness to meet the other person halfway. That's gold for building trust, especially when you're communicating in English.
So for you listening, the practical advice is, don't hold back from sharing bits about your life. Remember, people want to hear about you just as you want to hear about them. A great strategy suggested is to practice telling short, simple stories, maybe just to yourself first, in front of a mirror. Yeah, talk about your favorite food, what you do for work, a place you'd love to visit. Use simple English sentences to start. I enjoy reading. My favorite season is autumn. Last weekend, I visited my family. Tell yourself that people will appreciate your effort and want to know more about you. They value the attempt to connect way more than perfect grammar. Start small, one sentence maybe, and build up as you feel more comfortable. This helps you practice your narrative skills in English, not just sentence construction.
That's really practical advice. Okay, but what about those times when, you're trying everything, but the conversation just stalls, or that awkward silence descends? This moves us into navigating challenges and adapting to context, starting with dealing with awkward silence, normalizing pauses.
The source is really wise here, acknowledging something universal. Talking to people is not always easy, and those quiet moments, those pockets of awkward silence, they're totally normal. They happen to everyone.
Phew, good to know.
Right. The narrator talks about initially feeling nervous, wanting to run away from those silences, but the key insight is, don't panic. Pauses aren't necessarily failure or a reflection on your English skills. They're often just part of the rhythm. People might be thinking, processing, maybe just taking a breath.
Yeah.
And the source suggests that simple general comments or questions about what's right there, the weather, the place you're in, the event, can really effectively restart things without putting pressure on anyone. The narrator even says questions are great to keep talking, even during those quiet spots.
The party anecdote is perfect here. Everyone in the group just stopped talking. Silence. Instead of freaking out, the narrator uses their new skills, just smiled and said, "It's a nice party, isn't it?"
Simple, low risk.
Incredibly simple, but it worked. It broke the silence, got people talking again about the music, the food. It just shows how one calm, easy sentence can totally shift the energy and re-engage everyone. It also underlines why staying relaxed and smiling during a silence helps. Nervousness is catchy, right? We should really think of conversations like a dance, as the source suggests. There's talking, listening, and sometimes moments of quiet. It makes it okay if there are quiet moments, and it empowers you to gently restart the music, so to speak.
So for you, the listener, if silence falls, the mantra is, take a deep breath and say something simple. The source offers great examples. What do you think about this place? Have you been here before? I like the music. Do you? These are easy conversational bridges, and practicing how to handle these common, slightly awkward moments, that directly builds your confidence and flexibility in English communication. You develop your toolkit for those moments.
Okay, so beyond handling silences, how does the actual place where you're having the conversation change things? How does context affect our English communication? This brings us to talking in different places, contextual communication mastery.
This realization by the narrator marks a really big step up in communication skill. Every place was different. The market, the bus, a party, each has its own rules and feelings. And you need to adapt your words, your tone, even your body language.
That's pretty advanced stuff.
It is. It shows a sophisticated grasp of what linguists call pragmatics, understanding the unspoken social rules. It's not just about knowing English words, it's knowing how to use them appropriately in different situations. Reading the room, basically. For native speakers, it's often intuitive, but for English learners, it's often a conscious skill to develop. Super important for sounding natural.
Let's break down the examples. The market. Busy, noisy, needs politeness, but also speed and clarity.
Right, transactional.
Exactly. So the narrator learned direct phrases. How much is this? Do you have fresh tomatoes today? Always with please and thank you. But there's also that lovely bit about complimenting an old woman's beautiful flowers, which led to a short, nice chat about her growing them, or asking advice. Which fruit is the sweetest today? It shows even in a quick exchange, a small compliment can open a little social window, builds quick rapport.
That market context. It teaches efficiency, politeness under pressure. Then you have the bus. Total contrast. Quiet. People resting, wanting solitude.
Need to be careful there.
Definitely. The narrator learned to be soft, respectful, using low-key openers like, is this seat free? Yeah. How long is your bus ride? Maybe, do you take this bus every day? The story about saying long day to a tired-looking man, leading to a quiet, easy chat about work and weather that shows the power of subtle empathy. It really stresses reading body language headphones in, busy look, or relaxed. Avoid intruding. Respecting personal space is key for good English communication in public.
And then parties. Loud, energetic, fast conversations, often overlapping, hard to jump into initially.
Yeah, intimidating.
So the narrator learned to listen carefully, wait for the right moment, practicing lines like, do you like this song? Where do you live? The example of commenting, this song is great, isn't it, to someone, which started a fun music chat. It shows patience and timing are crucial. Parties teach exactly that. Wait for a natural opening before you speak. Joining a group chat, the narrator admits, takes time and practice. It's a skill you build.
The big picture takeaway from all this is that each place is like learning new games with different rules. Figuring out those rules helps you play better, communicate more effectively, and actually enjoy your English conversations more. Market, clarity, bus, respect, parties, patience, and timing. So for you listening, the advice is be observant. Notice the vibe in different places and consciously adapt your style, pace, volume, topic choice. Practice in lots of different settings to become a more flexible, confident English speaker.
Okay, so we have all these individual skills, the hello, the smile, small talk, questions, listening, sharing, handling silence, adapting to place. How do these all come together? How do they build on each other to create real friendships? This takes us to making friends step by step, the accumulation of skills.
Making friends is presented so nicely in the source, like building a house. You need to lay one brick at a time, carefully and patiently. That metaphor just perfectly captures it. All those skills we've talked about, they don't just sit there separately. They integrate, they combine, and they result in the ability to form deeper connections. It's not magic. It's the result of all that cumulative effort. Each small interaction builds on the last, strengthening both the relationship and your practical English skills.
It's a great analogy, and the source breaks it down into clear steps. Step 1, say hello often. Just regularly greeting people you see repeatedly, shopkeepers, neighbors, bus regulars. That repetition builds familiarity, makes people recognize you.
Lowers the barrier.
Exactly. Step 2, practice small talk. Start with the easy stuff, then gradually ask more personal questions for family, hobbies, showing you're genuinely interested over time. And there's that wonderful story about the man from the bus stop.
Yeah, the evolution of that relationship.
Right. Started with just good morning, grew into chats about work, family. They found a shared interest, football, and eventually they're meeting up outside the bus stop context for coffee to watch a game. It just beautifully shows the power of consistency, patience, and letting connections grow organically through regular English conversation.
And that patience is key, as the source really stresses. Friendships grow slowly. You cannot force them.
Yeah.
That's vital. Step 3 is be a good listener, reinforcing everything we said about making people feel important and comfortable. That builds trust. And step 4, which moves things forward, is to invite and share experiences, suggesting a walk, coffee, a shared activity, because as the source says, friendship is not just about talking, it's about spending time and sharing experiences. And importantly, the source normalizes that not everyone will become your friend, and that's okay. Don't take it personally if someone's busy or just not clicking. The narrator sums up their own journey by saying they became part of my community, no longer just a quiet person. That's a huge identity shift, driven by improving their English communication.
So for you listening, the core steps boiled down are: say hello, smile, ask questions, listen well, share a bit, invite connection, and crucially, be patient. It's this steady, step-by-step approach that builds both friendships and fluent conversational English. But okay, while you're doing all this positive building, you're bound to encounter people who aren't so easy, maybe even difficult. That brings us to advanced navigation, resilience, and growth, starting with handling difficult people, building resilience in conversation.
The source is really grounded and realistic here, acknowledging not everyone you meet will be easy to talk to. You'll encounter people who seem rude, impatient, uninterested, maybe just having a terrible day.
Happens to everyone.
Absolutely. The narrator describes that initial, very human reaction of blaming yourself. Did I say something wrong in English? Was it my fault? But then they learned a more resilient approach, the absolute key insight, recognizing that their behavior is not about me.
That's huge.
It really is. People might be stressed, having issues you know nothing about. It's vital not to take it personally. The advice is, stay calm yourself. Remain polite and respectful even if they aren't, and definitely avoid getting drawn into arguments or getting angry. It's about managing your own emotional response, which is a very advanced communication skill in any language.
The examples are so practical. At the market, a seller ignores questions, seems busy. The narrator just stayed calm, smiled politely, said thank you, and moved on. No drama.
Yeah, disengaged calmly.
Right. On the bus, a man looks annoyed at being greeted. Instead of getting upset, the narrator just smiled and said, have a good day, and didn't push it. These show it's okay to end the conversation politely. You can use a simple closing like, it was nice talking to you, or hope you have a better day, and just walk away. The source also subtly hints it's better to talk to people who respect and support you, especially when you're still building your English confidence. Protect your energy.
So for you, the listener, the takeaway is to reframe these tough interactions. Don't see them as failures. See them as chances to practice patience, emotional strength, and adaptability. Every difficult conversation, even if uncomfortable, teaches you something about handling different personalities and strengthens your resilience. It makes you a more robust English communicator. That shift in mindset turns discouragement into a learning opportunity.
Okay, so that's handling difficult others. What about the challenge we often create for ourselves, the fear of making mistakes in English? This leads us to using English confidently even when I make mistakes. Embracing imperfection.
Ah, yes, fear of mistakes. The narrator talks about that initial, sometimes crippling fear, using the wrong word, messing up grammar, feeling embarrassed, maybe even just clamming up and stopping talking altogether. It's so universal for language learners. It's that effective filter theory in action. The fear blocks the output. But the huge breakthrough realization here is, making mistakes is normal. Everyone makes mistakes when they learn something new. Just internalizing that takes so much pressure off. It frees you from needing to be perfect. Mistakes aren't failure. They're signs you're trying, you're learning, you're stretching yourself in English. They are literally evidence of growth.
It's incredibly liberating, isn't it? Just shifting that perspective. And the source has that perfect little example. Accidentally saying, I go to the market yesterday instead of I went.
Common mistake.
Totally. And the friend, no judgment, just smiled kindly, gently offered the correction. They both laughed, and the conversation just continued. No big deal. It shows so clearly that mistakes do not stop conversations. The real message is, keep trying and speaking. People, the source reassures us, are usually happy to help and understand if you try your best. The goal shifts from perfect English to effective communication, connection.
So for you listening, the practical advice is commit to using your English daily. Doesn't have to be formal study. Talk to yourself in the mirror, say new words out loud, really listen to how others phrase things. And when you're not sure, use simple sentences. It's better to say something easy than to stay silent because you are afraid. And when someone does correct you, see it as a gift. It's free, instant feedback.
A way to look at it.
It really helps. Remember, confidence comes from practice and not being afraid to make mistakes. Ultimately, speaking English is a skill you develop by using it. So don't stop speaking because of fear. Make mistakes, learn from them, and keep talking. Your ability grows with every attempt, perfect or not.
That really captures it, the brave, active, and yes, imperfect journey. So finally, after looking at all these small steps, these learned skills, how do they all add up? What's the big picture impact on someone's life? This brings us to how talking to people changed my life, the broader impact and transformation.
This is where the source really elevates the whole experience. The ultimate point wasn't just about speaking English. Learning to talk to people changed many parts of my life. It moves beyond language skill into this holistic personal transformation. It touches on fundamental human needs, connection, belonging, self-worth, and how overcoming communication barriers impacts everything.
And the specific changes described are just, wow, really profound across the board, personally. More confidence, happiness, and new opportunities. Meeting friends who offered support, shared stories, shared time. The narrator explicitly says they were no longer alone or shy. That's a deep identity shift.
Huge.
Professionally, being able to ask questions, understand instructions better at work. This led to more confidence in meetings, better interactions with the boss, better job performance, even getting praised. And then beyond work and friends, just engaging with the community opened up learning about culture, traditions, and different ways of life, which opened my mind and made me more curious about the world. It's this incredible ripple effect from just deciding to talk more in English.
Exactly. The core realization was that communication is about connection. Speaking wasn't just stringing English words together, it was building friendships and trust, becoming part of something bigger. This whole transformation gave the narrators strength and hope, a belief they could face new challenges and succeed in anything. So if you're listening, this story is powerful evidence that every conversation is a step toward change. Every word you speak in English moves you closer to your goals, whatever they are. Your journey holds that same potential for massive life changes. Every little interaction adds up to these big benefits. It's an investment in your whole future self.
Okay, so we've seen the path, we've seen the incredible rewards. What's the final nudge? The ultimate encouragement for you, our listener, to start or maybe recharge your own journey. This brings us to our final section, your turn, empowering the listener to act and the direct call to start your own journey.
Yeah, this part is really a direct, empowering message to you. It affirms that your journey, okay, maybe it won't always be easy, but it is absolutely possible, and it will change your life just like it changed mine. It cleverly pulls together all the key takeaways from the whole deep dive, making them super actionable. It's about moving from listening to doing. The core message is distilled down. Talking to people is not just about language, it's about connection. When you speak, you are building friendships, gaining confidence, and opening new opportunities you might not even see yet.
So what does this boil down to for you? The source leaves us with these really crucial, simple reminders. First, remember how simple the start can be. Say hello, smile. These small actions can open big doors. Second, don't wait. Don't wait for perfect English or the perfect moment. Start now with what you have. Third, be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are proof that you are trying and learning. Every mistake is a step forward, not backward.
So important.
Fourth, practice consistently. Practice every day, even if it's just a little. Chat with a neighbor, shopkeeper, someone on the bus. Fifth, use the skills. Ask simple questions and listen carefully. Use the skills I shared, smiling, asking questions, sharing stories, and truly listening. Sixth, manage challenges. Don't be afraid of silence or awkward moments. They happen. Smile, breathe, say something simple. And finally, choose your environment. Surround yourself with positive people who support and encourage you. So the question really becomes, if one shaky hello can open a door to confidence, what single small English conversation will you start after hearing this? How will you embrace that little bit of bravery today?
And that leads to a deeper question for you to think about. Considering these ripple effects we've seen, how might intentionally seeking out connection in English start right now, not just polish your language skills, but actually enrich your whole life, opening doors to experiences and relationships you haven't even considered yet? The potential rewards are truly immense.
And that really wraps up our deep dive for today. Exploring how talking to people, starting with those incredibly simple, brave actions, can genuinely improve your English and, honestly, spark a pretty major positive change in your life. Thanks so much for joining us on this exploration of the source material. Remember, simple steps, taken bravely, lead to the biggest transformations.
Absolutely. Embracing communication like this, it's more than just learning a skill. It's genuinely a pathway to a richer, more connected, more confident life. So take that first small step. Maybe even right after this.
What's that one? Hello, you're going to say? Find it and go say it. Have you ever felt that familiar nod of anxiety? You know, when you want to speak English, but the right words just seem to vanish.
Or maybe you're just so worried about making a mistake, it keeps you quiet.
Exactly. If that sounds like you, well, you are absolutely not alone.
Not at all. It's incredibly common.
Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into an extraordinary personal journey. It's really a transformation from profound shyness to, well, truly confident conversation.
And we're going to unpack it step by step, aren't we? How this one person remade their English speaking skills.
Yes, and crucially, how you can apply these very same principles to your own life. Our mission, really, for this deep dive is to pull out the most potent, actionable insights from this personal story.
Consider it a shortcut, maybe, to getting well-informed on practical real-world strategies.
Right. Strategies for dramatically boosting your English-speaking confidence just by, talking to people.
Simple, but powerful.
We're going to explore how these seemingly small shifts, maybe a willingness to face challenges, and developing those basic communication skills can lead to this huge expansion of your confidence.
And it applies across the board, doesn't it? Whether you want to make new friends or just improve your fluency.
Or even just feel more comfortable in everyday chats in English. And what truly fascinates me, what gets really interesting, is the proof here that you don't actually need perfect grammar.
Or a massive vocabulary to start.
No, just a bit of courage, the right ideas applied consistently, that really has the power to change your whole experience.
What's compelling here, I think, is that emphasis on personal transformation running alongside the language skills.
Yeah, it's not just about the rules.
Exactly. It's not just verb conjugations or lists of words. It speaks to something deeper, like building comfort, dismantling those inner barriers.
And making real connections through talking.
Right. And this deep dive, it's going to show us some really actionable, surprisingly accessible ways to start conversations.
Keep them going.
Handle those awkward silences.
We all know them.
Yeah. And share your own stories, too. All in clear, simple English.
It gets to the heart of communication itself, not just the mechanics of language. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it gives us a crucial insight. Real confidence in using a language. It often doesn't come just from studying in a classroom.
No, it's the doing, isn't it?
It flourishes through practical application, through consistent, sometimes brave interaction in the real world.
Yeah.
This journey really highlights the need to step outside that comfort zone.
Definitely.
And overcome those psychological hurdles that, let's be honest, can feel way more daunting than the language itself sometimes. It's about building resilience just as much as vocabulary.
Absolutely. Resilience, that's a great word for it. Okay, so our exploration into unlocking this confidence, it begins with a feeling I think many of us can relate to, this discomfort, maybe even a real aversion to talking to new people.
That internal struggle. The source material describes it so vividly, doesn't it? We hear about a heart racing like crazy.
Shaky hands.
Words just stuck inside, refusing to come out. It felt safer, easier to just be the quiet observer.
Watching others chat away.
Yeah, but that always leads to feeling, well, pretty lonely and isolated.
It does. It's a common trap.
And there's this really poignant anecdote in the source that just captures this internal battle perfectly. It's set in a local market.
Oh, the market scene, yes.
The narrator goes into this small, bustling, noisy market nearby wanting to buy some apples.
Right. The atmosphere is lively, people talking, laughing.
Exactly. And behind the counter, there's this shopkeeper who seems so happy, joking with customers, totally natural, totally at ease.
Nice picture of confidence.
Totally. And our narrator longed to just walk up, say hello, maybe ask, how are you?
Just a simple greeting.
But standing there, right in front of the stall, that familiar dry throat feeling takes over. The mind goes completely blank.
The fear kicks in. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Being misunderstood.
Overwhelmingly so. So all they could manage was pointing to the apples and whispering, "This one, please."
And then a quick escape.
A quick escape, followed by this immediate heavy wave of regret. The narrator remembers thinking, why is it so hard for me? Why can't I just say simple things easily?
That yearning for the shopkeeper's ease, it's palpable.
It really is.
And that anecdote, it's so powerful because it forces us to ask, what are those psychological barriers stopping us from even basic interactions, especially when we actually want connection?
Right. What is it?
The market scene just shows that gap between wanting to speak and actually doing it. It's not just about not knowing the words.
It's more than that.
It's often deep-seated social anxiety, that fear of judgment, and just the huge effort of getting over those first emotional hurdles. We talk about cognitive load in learning, but this is the emotional load right here.
That makes sense. Emotional load.
And, broadly speaking, we tend to think of language improvement as this straight line, vocab, grammar, fluency.
Step 1, step 2, step 3.
Exactly. But this personal story shows so clearly that the emotional barriers, the confidence hurdles, they're often the first ones and arguably the biggest ones to tackle.
You can know all the grammar in the world.
But if you can't overcome that internal block, it stays locked away.
Yeah.
It's about building psychological comfort alongside the language skills.
So that day at the market, that feeling of regret, it became the trigger, didn't it?
Catalyst.
A firm decision. I want to change. Even though the fear of mistakes was still huge, the commitment was made.
And the very next day.
Yeah.
Action.
Courageous action. The story tells us about seeing a man sitting quietly on a park bench. The narrator gathered up all their courage and managed a small, maybe even shaky hello.
Just hello.
And the man looked up, smiled gently, and said back, "Hello, how are you?"
And the feeling.
Pure happiness, like a door just swung open. It wasn't about perfect English. It was just starting.
That small hello is huge. It's about breaking inertia, right? That initial resistance. It shows that the first interaction doesn't need to be complicated or long. It just needs to start.
Get the ball rolling.
Exactly. And usually, that effort is met with positivity, like the man smiling back. That positive feedback is crucial for building that first layer of confidence.
It proves the fear was maybe bigger than the reality.
Often, yes. It's almost like a mini exposure therapy for that social anxiety.
So what does this mean for you, listening? It means practice.
Consistent practice.
Our narrator started practicing every single day, just saying hello to people on the street, neighbors, shopkeepers.
Was it scary at first?
Oh, yeah. Definitely scary.
Yeah.
And sometimes people didn't respond. Maybe they were busy.
Sure, that happens.
But mostly, they smiled back. And each smile made the narrator feel a bit stronger, a bit more capable.
That reinforcement loop.
The big insight here is simple. Talking isn't about perfect English or having all the words ready. It's about being brave enough to start.
That first hello.
It's the hardest one, no question. But it's the most important step on this whole journey of improving your speaking by actually, speaking.
It's the activation energy, as you said.
Yeah, activation energy, I like that. Okay, so after breaking the ice with hello, something even more important emerged. It wasn't just what was said, but how.
Ah, the nonverbals. The smile.
Exactly. The smile makes a massive difference. There's this anecdote about waiting at a bus stop again.
Mm-hmm.
The narrator sees an older man standing alone, decides to practice again, but this time does something new. Offers a warm, genuine smile first.
Before speaking.
Yes. And then pairs that smile with a simple, "Hello, how are you?"
And the reaction.
The man's face apparently just lit up. He smiled back and replied, "I'm fine, thank you. Nice to see you."
Instant warmth.
Totally. That one smile changed the whole feel of the interaction, made it friendly, comfortable, like a key opening a door, the narrator said. They hadn't realized how powerful a simple smile could be.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The impact of nonverbal cues. A smile is pretty much universal.
Right. Everyone gets it.
It signals openness, friendliness, approachability. It kind of disarms people, reduces that perceived awkwardness or threat.
Make sense?
It helps others see you as trustworthy, receptive. It sets a positive emotional tone right from the start, even before words are exchanged. It transcends language.
So the message for you listening is, try it.
Definitely.
Next time you want to talk to someone, consciously smile first. Then just a simple hi or good morning.
Doesn't need to be complicated.
Not at all. Even if you're nervous inside, practice that smile. It makes a huge difference.
It really does.
The key takeaway, a smile often says more than words. It makes talks friendlier, helps you feel more confident, and can even lessen that nervous feeling.
And make you feel happier, actually.
Yeah. It's the first step to making real connections. A low-cost, high-return strategy.
Well put.
All right, moving along. After getting comfortable with hellos and smiles, the next logical step was small talk.
Ah, small talk. The next hurdle.
And predictably, this brought back a wave of familiar anxieties. Shyness, worrying the English wasn't good enough.
Fear of mistakes, not being understood.
All those inner voices getting loud again. Very nerve-wracking for the narrator.
Understandably.
But there's another bus stop anecdote that shows the breakthrough.
Okay.
Waiting for the bus, the narrator sees a young woman with a pretty large bag. That inner voice says, "Okay, chance to practice small talk."
Deep breath time.
Big, deep breath. Then, bravely, "Nice bag. Where did you buy it?"
Simple, observational.
Exactly. And just like that, it opened up a really lovely conversation. They talked about the market, shopping in the city, even favorite foods.
And it felt.
Surprisingly easy, natural even.
Which brings up that question. Why is small talk often so daunting, but also so essential for, social life and language practice?
Yeah, why?
Well, the point isn't to have some deep philosophical debate, right?
No, definitely not.
Its job is to find common ground, build comfort, break the ice. It's low stakes.
Low stakes, yeah.
It actually reduces anxiety because you're focusing on simple everyday stuff, not perfect grammar or saying something profound. It's the gateway to deeper talk. Phatic communion, they call it?
Phatic communion. Okay. So the narrator learned that small talk really is like opening a door. It doesn't need to be about anything serious, just everyday things. The weather, nice day, isn't it? Or bit chilly today.
Universal topics.
Or shared places. Do you like this cafe? Been to that park? Even just asking about someone's day or plans.
Like the coffee shop example.
Right. Just commenting to the barista, the coffee smells great today. That simple observation sparked a friendly chat. These easy questions and comments were great tools, not just for picking up words, but keeping the conversation flowing.
Maintaining the rhythm.
Yeah. So the key thing to grasp here is that small talk isn't about perfect English. Not at all.
It's about showing interest, making a connection.
Exactly. And the more you practice these simple, low-pressure chats, the easier it gets. You start worrying less about mistakes and more about just connecting.
It's like social lubrication, but for language learning.
Perfect analogy. Social lubrication. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting, I think. After getting the hang of greetings, smiling, and that initial small talk, the next big lesson was about asking questions.
But not just any questions.
No, questions designed to keep the conversation going, to keep it alive and engaging. The narrator realized if you only talk about yourself, people eventually just tune out.
Makes sense. It becomes a monologue.
Exactly. There's a great anecdote from a park setting.
Okay.
The narrator sees a man with a dog, seizes the moment. Hello, what kind of dog is that?
Simple, direct question.
And boom, conversation unlocked. The man proudly says it's Max, a golden retriever. Then the narrator asks, how old is Max?
Showing continued interest.
Right, and the man launches into stories about Max. The narrator found that asking questions made conversations easy and fun because, well, people love talking about themselves.
They do. Their families, their work, their hobbies.
Asking questions made them feel valued, happy to share. It's like tapping into that principle of reciprocal interest.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And it highlights a core principle of good communication.
Yeah.
Genuine curiosity about the other person.
Genuine curiosity, yeah.
When you ask about their lives, their stories, their passions, you validate them. You make them feel seen and heard.
And that encourages them to open up more.
Definitely. It creates this positive loop of sharing and valuing each other. And this is where active listening really ties in, because the best questions often come from what you've just heard.
Yeah, good point. Listening informs the questions.
Exactly.
The narrator also learned about the power of open-ended questions.
Yes, crucial distinction.
Questions that need more than just a yes or no. So instead of, say, do you like music, which can shut things down pretty quick,
Dead end.
they learn to ask, what kind of music do you like?
Invites elaboration. Narrative.
Precisely. That small change encourages the other person to say more, share more, and keeps the conversation flowing naturally. It shifts the burden of keeping it going.
Takes the pressure off you slightly.
And here's something important for you listening. It's okay to make mistakes when you're asking questions.
Absolutely. Don't let that fear stop you.
The narrator worried about asking the wrong thing initially, but found most people just appreciate the effort. They appreciate you trying to connect.
They really do.
Conversations are like a game, right? Both people share, both listen. Asking questions is how you keep that game moving, keep it dynamic.
Keeps it from being a one-sided lecture.
Exactly. So the key takeaway, practice asking simple, open questions. Where are you from? What do you like to do? How was your day?
Basic, but effective.
It makes talks fun, easier, and you learn so much more about people that way. Builds empathy, too.
Definitely builds empathy.
So what can we pull from this next chapter? This one reveals something quite surprising, maybe even counterintuitive for many learners.
Oh?
That listening, active listening, is actually even more important than speaking when it comes to improving your English.
Really? More important?
Yeah. The initial thought was, I need to talk a lot to learn fast. Constant output.
That seems logical on the surface.
But the narrator found that deep, engaged listening was way more effective for boosting confidence and speeding up real language learning.
Interesting. How did that play out?
Well, there's this anecdote from a cafe, sitting with a new friend who was telling stories about his job, his family.
Okay.
Normally, the narrator would be internally panicking, thinking, what do I say next? Am I saying it right?
That internal chatter. Very common.
But this time they made a conscious choice to just listen. Really listen.
What did that look like?
Maintaining eye contact, smiling genuinely, nodding, using those little verbal cues like, I see, that's interesting, really.
Active listening signals.
Exactly. And because the narrator listened so attentively, the friend felt really comfortable.
And probably talked more.
Talked even more, shared lots of stories. The narrator didn't feel pressure to talk much, just listened carefully, absorbed new words, heard how English is used naturally.
Picked up the rhythm, the expressions.
And the whole conversation felt easy and enjoyable for both of them. It was a real light bulb moment.
That's fascinating. It shows how active listening creates comfort and deeper understanding.
Yeah.
It acts like this low-pressure way to absorb so much new words, pronunciation details, idioms, even the tone of voice that signals feelings like happiness or surprise.
You pick it all up.
And all of that naturally improves your own speaking, makes it sound more authentic, less textbook.
Right, less forced.
Plus, beyond the language gains, listening well shows respect, kindness. It tells people you care about what they're saying. That builds real connection.
It's like empathic listening in action.
Precisely. And it's a skill anyone can practice every day.
So if you're struggling to speak or feeling nervous,
Focus on listening first. Watch faces, eyes, body language. They tell you so much.
use those simple phrases. I see. Really.
They show you're engaged, encourage the other person, and give you a moment to think without feeling pressure to jump in immediately.
Buys you some time.
Exactly.
Correct.
So the big insight is, don't feel you have to rush to speak all the time. Take time to listen carefully.
The more you listen.
The better your English gets, and the stronger your friendships become. It's a powerful, maybe unexpected path to confidence.
Definitely unexpected for many, I think. Okay, so after mastering deep listening, the next big challenge pops up, talking about yourself.
Self-disclosure can be tricky.
Yeah, it brought back all that familiar shyness for the narrator. Worries about sounding boring or making mistakes again.
Those anxieties can be really strong, enough to silence you sometimes.
Totally. But they realize something crucial. Sharing a little bit about yourself is vital for people to actually get to know you. It makes conversations feel real, warm.
It really does, if we think about it. It's about reciprocal self-disclosure, right?
Yeah.
Building rapport,
Reciprocal.
meaning it goes both ways. If you only ask questions and never share anything about yourself, it can feel a bit like an interrogation.
Yeah, one-sided.
People want to hear about you too. Communication needs that back and forth to build trust and connection. It's balancing asking with telling.
That makes sense. So there's this anecdote again in the park with a new friend.
Okay.
After listening really well to the friend's stories, the narrator took a breath and shared something small about their own life.
What did they share?
Just, last weekend I tried cooking for the first time. Simple as that.
And the reaction.
The friend looked surprised, then smiled, asked, "Really? What did you cook?" The narrator smiled back, said, "Pasta. Wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it."
Honesty, vulnerability.
Exactly. It led to a shared laugh, the friends shared their own cooking stories, and suddenly the conversation felt closer, more personal. It went beyond just words.
The shared experience, even a small one.
The narrator learned you don't need these huge dramatic stories. Small, everyday things are enough.
Hobbies, family, what you did yesterday.
Yeah. And a great tip from the source is to practice telling these little stories to yourself, maybe in the mirror.
Talking out loud.
Yeah, about simple things. I like pizza. My job is interesting. I want to visit Spain. Just practicing gets you comfortable, ready for real conversations.
Drills that muscle memory almost.
And when you do share, especially at first, keep sentences simple. I like music. My favorite color is blue. Yesterday, I went to the market.
Don't overthink the grammar.
Exactly. People appreciate the effort, the willingness to open up. That vulnerability actually builds strength.
Paradoxical, but true.
So the key takeaway, sharing builds trust, builds friendships. Don't be afraid to talk about your life.
So start small.
Start small, one sentence at a time. Soon you'll be sharing stories more easily, more confidently. It's using vulnerability as a strength.
I like that framing. Vulnerability is strength.
So what can we learn as we move into navigating real-world conversations? Well, the reality is talking, especially in a new language, isn't always smooth sailing.
Definitely not. Quiet moments, awkward pauses. They happen.
They happen to everyone, even native speakers. Our narrator faced plenty of these awkward silences.
That feeling when the conversation just dies.
Yeah. There's this really relatable anecdote from a party.
Parties can be tough spots for silence.
Totally. The narrator was in a group chat trying to join in, and suddenly, silence. Everyone just stopped talking.
That uncomfortable quiet.
The narrator felt super nervous, didn't know what to say, really wanted to just leave.
The flight response.
But they stayed, took a few seconds, put on a brave smile, and just said something simple. It's a nice party, isn't it?
Breaking the tension.
Exactly. And slowly, conversation started up again. People smiled, started talking about the music, the food. That one simple sentence broke the spell.
Which raises that key question. How do we stop dreading silence and see it as just a normal part of talking?
How do we do that?
The key as the anecdote shows, is not to panic. Simple phrases about the situation work wonders. What do you think of this place? Been here before?
Keep it low stakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Asking questions is always a good fallback. And just holding a calm smile makes everyone feel more comfortable, including yourself. It signals the silence isn't a disaster, just a pause.
It's like mastering the conversational pivot.
Exactly, the pivot.
So the crucial takeaway, awkward silence is normal. It happens.
Don't beat yourself up about it.
Take a breath, say something simple about the weather, the place, the event. Remember that conversation, Dan? Sometimes you speak, sometimes you listen.
Sometimes you just smile.
It's all part of the rhythm. And with practice, you learn to handle those moments with more ease, more confidence.
It becomes less scary over time.
Okay, here's where the journey reveals another really fascinating layer. The narrator discovered that every place, every situation has its own conversational vibe.
Context is everything.
Totally. Talking in a busy market is completely different from chatting on a quiet bus or mingling at a loud party.
Learning to adapt your words, your style, based on where you are, that's crucial.
It really is.
And what's compelling here is seeing sociolinguistics in action, right? How social context shapes communication norms.
Sociolinguistics. Like the science of social language.
Basically, yeah. And that ability to adapt, to shift your register or style, that's a sign of a really confident, skilled communicator.
It's not just what you say.
It's how you say it, when you say it, and understanding how it lands in that specific situation. It involves awareness of space, timing, everything.
Right. Let's break down those examples from the source because they're super practical. First, the market.
Busy, noisy, hurried.
Exactly. The narrator learned politeness is key, but you also need to be quick and clear. Too much chat might not work.
Get to the point, politely.
Simple phrases. How much is this? Got any fresh tomatoes? Using please and thank you with a smile helps too.
Makes sellers friendlier.
There's that anecdote about complimenting the flower seller. Your flowers are beautiful. Led to a nice short chat.
A brief connection.
And asking for advice worked well too. Which fruit is sweetest? Best way to pick ripe avocados.
Shows interest, facilitates learning.
So the market teaches that balance. Be transactional, but also relational, polite and clear.
Good summary. Next, the bus.
Total contrast. Quiet, people keeping to themselves mostly.
Respecting personal space is key.
Narrators learn to speak softly. Simple things like, is this seat taken? Said quietly. Maybe a polite smile if it's free.
Unobtrusive question.
Yeah, like, how long is your bus ride? Or noticing someone looks tired and quietly saying, long day, eh?
That empathetic comment.
Led to a short, quiet chat about work and weather. But crucially, learning to read the signs.
Body language. Headphones usually mean don't talk.
Exactly. But a relaxed posture, maybe eye contact, signals openness. It teaches observational politeness, situational awareness. And finally, parties.
High energy, loud music, fast conversations already in progress.
Can be intimidating to jump into.
Narrator felt shy at first, stayed quiet, but then developed a strategy. Listen first, wait for a natural opening.
Patience and observation. Then use simple, relevant questions, like this song. Where do you live?
Contextual openings.
The anecdote about saying, this song is great, isn't it? To someone nearby sparked a whole chat about music. Boosted confidence hugely.
Finding that right moment.
Parties taught patience, careful listening before speaking, and how to spot those little pauses to join in smoothly. It's about learning conversational turn-taking.
A skill in itself.
Absolutely. So the big insight. Each place has its own unspoken rules.
The market. Politeness, clarity, efficiency. The bus. Quiet respect, observation. Parties. Listening, patience, timing.
Understanding and adapting to these rules helps you speak and listen appropriately for the situation.
And that builds comfort talking anywhere. It's building true communicative competence.
Exactly. Competence beyond just the words. So what's the ultimate payoff here? What can we really take away from this whole journey?
Well, all those small steps, all that courage, all those skills practiced, they lead somewhere profound, don't they?
They really do. They lead to making real friends, building a sense of community. The source compares it beautifully to building a house. Brick by brick.
Careful, patient work. One interaction at a time.
Exactly.
And makes you wonder, doesn't it? How do these small, consistent efforts lead to such deep connections rather than, say, one big dramatic gesture?
Yeah, why the small steps?
It really highlights the cumulative power of persistence. Friendships aren't just magicked into existence. They're built gradually through lots of positive back and forth interactions. It's Iterative social bonding.
Iterative social bonding. Okay, let's walk through that step-by-step process for making friends, like the source lays it out.
Okay.
Say hello often. Be consistent with people you see regularly, shopkeepers, neighbors, people on your commute.
Builds recognition, familiarity.
Right. At first, maybe just a smile back, but eventually they recognize you, maybe say hello first. That really builds confidence.
Lowers the barrier each time.
Next, practice small talk. We talked about this weather, the market, movies, show genuine interest, ask about their family, hobbies.
Signals you care beyond just a quick hello.
Be a great listener. Super important. Listen attentively, nod, smile. Make them feel heard, important. That builds trust.
Active, empathetic reception.
Love that. Finally, invite people. As you get more comfortable, suggest a walk, coffee, maybe a meal.
Picking it outside the usual context.
That's where friendships really deepen, moving from acquaintance to something more.
That relational escalation.
Yeah. And there's that lovely story about the friend from the bus stop.
Started with just good morning.
Every day, then asking about work, sharing about family, discovered they both liked the same football team.
Finding common ground.
Conversations got longer, more personal, eventually met up outside the bus stop coffee, watching games.
A perfect example of that gradual brick-by-brick building.
Totally. And it's important to remember, and the source stresses this, not everyone will become your friend. And that's okay.
Don't take it personally.
Patience is key. Friendships grow slowly, can't be forced. But the more the narrator practiced this, the easier it felt, the more connected they became to their community. Not just watching, but participating.
Actively engaged. That's a huge shift.
Okay, let's tackle another real-world aspect. While this journey is rewarding, not every conversation is going to be smooth or positive.
Unfortunately, no. You'll encounter difficult people sometimes.
People who are rude, impatient, or just plain uninterested. Our narrator found these interactions really hard at first.
Caused self-doubt. Questioning yourself.
Yeah. Why they like that? Did I say something wrong?
Yeah.
But eventually, a really empowering lesson was learned. How to handle these tricky chats without letting them damage your confidence or progress.
Which connects to building emotional intelligence, resilience in communication.
Right.
And a key realization is often their behavior isn't actually about you.
It's not personal.
Frequently not. They might be having a bad day, stressed out, or maybe just naturally less sociable. So the advice is liberating. Try not to take it personally.
That detachment protects your confidence.
Exactly. It shifts focus from their reaction to your response. It's attitudinal resilience.
Attitudinal resilience. Okay. The source gives good examples. Like at the market, a vendor was busy, didn't want to chat.
Instead of getting upset.
The narrator stayed calm, smiled politely, said thank you, and just moved on. Showed real composure.
Grace under pressure.
Another one. A man on the bus looked annoyed by a hello. Clearly didn't want to talk.
So instead of pushing it,
narrator just smiled and said, have a good day. Polite disengagement. No argument, no anger. Powerful way to diffuse negativity.
Setting a boundary politely.
So the lesson learned. If someone's difficult, stay polite, stay respectful, don't argue.
It just makes things worse.
And it's okay to end the conversation politely. Nice talking to you. Hope you have a good day. Then excuse yourself.
Choose where you invest your energy.
Yes. Focus on people who are respectful and supportive. Those positive interactions make the whole learning process easier, more enjoyable. The key insight. You actually gain patience and strength from these difficult moments. Every conversation, even the tough ones, teaches you something.
About communication, resilience, yourself. They're uncomfortable growth opportunities.
Uncomfortable, but valuable. Okay, now we get to something absolutely central to the English learning journey, something so many people struggle with.
The fear of making mistakes.
Huge. Monumental barrier for many. Worrying about wrong words, bad grammar, feeling embarrassed. It can just shut you down completely.
Stops you from even trying.
Our narrator definitely felt this. Sometimes just stopped speaking altogether out of self-consciousness. But through persistence, they learned a vital, freeing lesson.
Which is?
Mistakes are normal. They're an essential part of learning anything new. Everyone makes them. Even fluent native speakers mess up sometimes.
It's that shift in mindset, isn't it? From fear of failure to seeing mistakes as part of the process.
A growth mindset.
Exactly. Where challenges, including errors, are opportunities to learn. Corrections aren't criticisms. They're valuable feedback.
Real-time learning opportunities.
Guiding you towards accuracy, fluency. It's crucial feedback for your brain as it learns.
There's that great anecdote illustrating this. The narrator is talking to a friend and says, I go to the market yesterday.
Instead of, I went?
Yeah.
Common mistake.
Right. And the friend, instead of judging, just smiled kindly and gently corrected, "That's okay, you mean you went yesterday."
Gentle, helpful.
They both laughed lightly, conversation carried on, no big deal. It showed mistakes don't have to stop communication.
That's a powerful realization.
It revealed that errors don't kill conversations. What matters is the effort, the willingness to keep trying.
And most people are understanding.
Usually, yes. Especially if they see you're genuinely trying. They're often happy to help.
So how did the narrator build confidence despite the fear?
Daily practice. Talking to the mirror, repeating new words, listening carefully to how others speak. Gradual improvement.
Deliberate practice.
And when unsure, use simple sentences. Better to see something simple than stay silent out of fear.
Keep it clear, keep it moving.
And if someone corrects you, listen openly. Don't feel bad. See it as helpful guidance.
Signposts on the learning path.
The powerful insight here. Real confidence comes from practice and not being afraid to mess up. Speaking English is a skill you hone by using it.
Don't let fear stop you.
Make mistakes, learn from them, and keep talking. Every error is a step towards fluency.
Embrace the imperfection.
So, when we look back at this whole journey, what's the ultimate conclusion? What does it all mean?
Well, it's clear this wasn't just about learning English better, was it?
Not at all. It fundamentally changed multiple parts of the narrator's life, brought confidence, happiness, opened up so many new opportunities.
Which makes you ask, how does improving communication skills, especially in a new language, create such a massive ripple effect across someone's life?
Yeah, how does that happen?
It shows that mastering a language goes way beyond just linguistic skill. It fuels personal growth, empowerment, a richer engagement with the world. It builds self-efficacy far beyond just talking.
Self-efficacy, yeah. The source lists these benefits so clearly. First, new friendships, connecting with people who welcomed and supported them, sharing stories, helping each other, just enjoying time together. That feeling of not being alone or shy anymore was huge.
Deeply liberating.
Second, improvements at work. Gaining confidence to ask questions, understand instructions better, participate in meetings.
Leading to better performance.
Yes, even getting praise. Language became a career accelerant.
Wow.
Third, a deeper connection to the community. Through talking with different people, learning about local culture, traditions, different ways of thinking.
Broadening horizons, opening the mind.
Fostering that sense of belonging. Integrating cultural competence through interaction.
Makes perfect sense.
But the biggest lesson the source emphasizes was that communication is fundamentally about connection.
Beyond just words.
It's about building friendships, trust, becoming part of something bigger. This whole transformation gave the narrator immense strength, hope, belief in their ability to face challenges and succeed.
Truly inspiring.
The overarching insight is just so powerful and actionable. Every single conversation, no matter how small it seems, is a step towards change.
Every word you say brings you closer.
Talking to people changed this person's life. And it absolutely has the power to change yours, too.
If you take those steps. Hashtag outro.
Okay, we have journeyed deep into a truly remarkable personal story today. We've unpacked how these simple steps, taken with courage, with consistency, can lead to this amazing confidence in speaking English.
It's really a blueprint, isn't it? Based on lived experience, showing how to improve your English by actively talking to people.
Turning that fear into connection. So what does all this mean for you listening right now?
It's your turn.
It's your turn to start your own journey. Don't wait for perfect English. It's always evolving anyway. And don't wait for the perfect moment.
Because the perfect moment is now, with the English you have right now.
Exactly. Remember those core principles. Say hello, offer that smile, be patient with yourself.
Embrace mistakes as proof you're trying.
Practice every day, even short chats. Use the skills we've talked about. Smiling, asking open questions, sharing little stories, and really truly listening.
And zooming out, the core message here is about shifting your mindset.
How so?
It's okay if there are quiet moments or awkward pauses. They happen to everyone.
Not just learners.
Take that breath, smile, say something simple to get things moving again, and consciously surround yourself with positive, supportive people.
Makes the journey much better.
Much more enjoyable, much more manageable. Ultimately, this deep dive shows that talking to people isn't just about getting better at English.
It's more than that.
It's about connection, building friendships, gaining that deep confidence, and opening up new opportunities in your life.
Which leads to a final thought for you to maybe mull over.
A provocative question. How might just one more conversation this week, just one begin to transform an area of your life, maybe in ways you don't even expect yet, beyond just your English skills?
Believe in yourself. You absolutely have the power to change your life one conversation at a time. Go forth and connect.